Hello and welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. If you're new around here, please do click like and subscribe down below. That'd help me out no end. And the point of this video, as opposed to how I've titled it, is to stop you getting scams, not teach you how to scam people. So I'm going to make that clear from the get-go. So please do take note of the advice I'm going to give at the end of this video. But I thought it was a funny story that I would share, so let's get straight into it. So this all started when somebody in our cycling club shared an advert for What Bike Atom in our club chat. It was advertised suspiciously low. It was about £1,000 or £1,100. This person had messaged that person and become quite alarmed with what they were saying. So he shared it with us basically to say, look, because it was advertised quite locally to us, don't fall for this trap. This isn't a genuine What Bike Atom. He said the seller was saying things like, yes, it's compatible with a Shimano crank and all weird other things. And then myself and a few others then took it upon ourselves to try and waste this guy's time, essentially. You know, this fraudulent seller, just sending messages, can I buy it, etc. Just because that's all we could do. Like, we reported the page, reported the post, and Facebook didn't do anything. So we just thought, well, we'll try and waste the person's time, and then it's less worthwhile for them. So I will flick through the messages between me and this guy or girl, who knows who actually was, on screen whilst I'm talking this through. But essentially, I'm trying to come across as somebody genuine who just wants to buy the bike. Like, I'm not going to ask loads of questions. I just want to get straight to it. However, as you can see, he sort of didn't respond to me for a few days because I mentioned collection. Clearly doesn't want somebody to come around to his house, does he? Because this thing does not exist. When he did come back to me, he immediately has asked for a deposit. And he's not just asked for a small deposit, he's asked for half the amount of the bike to be paid to him before collection, because people have been wasting his time, because he's been sat inside waiting for people who haven't turned up. He needs a deposit in order to secure it. Saying things like that gives you like a false sense of urgency, makes you think, oh, if I don't do this, I'm going to miss out on this item. And because this item is advertised to cyclists, it was in like, you know, like bikes for sale pages and stuff, it's something that you can relate to. You want that thing. So he's got you like hook, line and sinker on an item. Also, half of the asking price is a massive deposit to ask for. I have in the past in various ways given a small deposit to secure something, however, certainly not half the asking price. And you will see from the text, do not be fooled by the way this person's coming across, very well spoken, acting like they're an older gentleman, making you feel like you should trust this person, you should feel sorry for them, they've had to wait in for people not turning up, being messed around, etc. So then I thought, okay, if I'm going to string this guy a bit further, I said, how can I pay? Can I pay via PayPal? Knowing that a dodgy seller would probably not want to use PayPal because you've got buyer's protection. We'll come on to that later. Obviously, he said no, has made up some excuse about how he can't get through the two-factor authentication. That happens when you're not a real person. And therefore, he couldn't accept payment by PayPal. And then he cut me off. And I think, when I read back through the conversation, a bit of a ballsy move to essentially walk away. However, reading back how like keen I was coming across, I think he knew that I'd just come back with, okay, well, how can I pay then? And then it's almost like I'm looking for another way to pay him, not him trying to get me to pay a specific way. It's quite clever, that sort of mind games, isn't it? But obviously I was aware that was what he'd probably do. So then obviously he comes back with, pay me via bank transfer, going to make this exception one time only, as if, what other way are you going to pay him any other time? And then he creates a bit of urgency again by saying you need to do this soon in order to secure it. Gives you that sort of feeling that, oh, I need to do this now. Another warning sign, the bank details he gave me, he said, oh, the name is different on the account, they're my wife's. Whatever, another alarm bell. Don't tell me any adult doesn't have a bank account. In reality, this is almost definitely a false identity. Then asked for an address to build up the picture of, I'm genuinely going to come and pick this thing up, so that means I'm genuinely going to send the deposit. The address he gave me, I've looked on Rightmove sold prices, the house has never been sold, I don't think it exists. I've looked on Google like Street View and I can't see the number on the door, so it probably doesn't even exist. Then he gave me a phone number that obviously didn't work and said, don't ring me, just text me, obviously because the phone number doesn't work. So then I was thinking, well, I'm at a dead end, aren't I? I either send this guy some money or I don't, and either way, the money's gone or I'm walking away. That's the end of the game. So I strung along the name doesn't match thing a little bit longer, and I thought I'd try and create a false sense of urgency for him. So I made up this little story that I said I'd spoken to Lloyds Banking. They'd advised that yes, the name didn't match. I was trying to add him as a recipient. Obviously I hadn't. But however, as an idea, if he was to send me some money, I would see the name exactly as it is on the bank statement, therefore on his account, and then I could add the recipient with the correct name. So I thought, well, this is my only chance really of dragging this out a bit longer, or even getting some money from this seller or this scammer. So I thought, okay, how much can I ask this person for? £100, probably a bit much. £1, almost not worth going for. I thought £10 is small enough that somebody might actually send it if they're a scammer, because it doesn't look like I'm trying to make loads of money off of it, but it's enough to, like, you know, I don't know, do something with, who knows. So I asked for £10. I said, send me £10. I'll then see the name, as I've said, and I send that back to you with the 550 or whatever we'd agreed. And then to my shock and surprise, he sent me £1. Amazing how 10 minutes ago he didn't have internet banking and it was his wife's, not his, and now he's sending me £1 on internet banking. So I got £1 in my account. And I was thinking, oh my God, what if he's in my account somehow? But anyway, and that was it. So he sent me £1. Following that, obviously, he didn't respond. I didn't send him anything. I then blocked him, reported it to Facebook, reported the account to Metro Bank. Facebook didn't do anything. They said the profile was absolutely fine. Metro Bank said they reported it to their fraud squad, but obviously you don't hear anything back from that. So there we go. I scammed a scammer for £1 whole. Now, before you all go in on me saying, well, Daniel, that just makes you a scammer. You're exactly the same as them. Yes, I appreciate the point. However, I tried to make right. So I took that £1 that this scammer had sent me and £20 of my own, and I've donated it to one of my friends who's currently doing a running challenge event in January for Cancer Research UK. So the advice then, how do you stop this happening to you? Now, to make it clear, I'm not against buying things through Facebook. You often get lots of good deals through there. There's people who want to shift things quickly, good opportunities for bikes and whatever other product you're looking for. I'm not saying don't buy through there. I think as a number one, I would try and buy through eBay and always buy through PayPal, because then you get the eBay buyer's protection as well as the PayPal protection. However, if you are buying through Facebook or Gumtree or whatever, do not bank transfer anybody any money unless you've got the item in your hand. And even then, I'd say, what's the point? Use PayPal and use PayPal goods and services. There is no reason not to. If you're using PayPal friends and family, the only time you should do that is if you are giving money to a friend or family, because you get no protection from it. You're essentially giving that money away and you're basing it on trust that that person or seller is going to send you something. Now, what if the item is big or expensive or you need to collect it? How do you do that? So I've recently purchased something on eBay which cost nearly £3,000. Bought it through the eBay auction, straight through PayPal, which of course defaults to paying by goods and services because it is a good that it's selling. Now that item was actually collection only. So PayPal knows that. The way that it's set up on eBay is if it's collection only, it knows that you're not getting that item until you've collected it. And there are more checks in place, the more expensive the item is, the way I understand it. So I paid £2,700 on PayPal at the point the auction finished. And then the seller gets that. However, there's a button that I press after I've actually got the item to release the money to the seller. So the seller gets the money as like a pending amount. And then when I actually get the bike, so I went to collect the bike, the seller brought the bike to me. When it was there, you think, okay, great, the bike or the item is there. Thank you very much, seller. Here you go. Watch me press this button, send, yes, immediate. The seller goes, yep, I've got that. Done, job done. You've managed to complete a transaction over, internet paying without any risk, or very, very minimal risk. The only other ways I suggest is just doing straight and boring cash on collection. If you've arranged to buy something, you go to, in normal times, you go to that person's house or wherever they want to meet you, try and meet them at their house, and then, yes, there's the item, yes, I'm happy with it, here's the money for it, job done. I discourage it slightly with like massively expensive amounts because you don't really want to be carrying that much cash around with you, but just make sure that you are thoroughly protected. Now, I would say as a default, always use PayPal goods and services. I have recently actually been scammed as well. It's funny how the table turns, isn't it? There was a pair of bike wheels that I bought before Christmas. They were quite cheap. I bought them. I don't doubt that they actually existed this time. However, the seller just didn't get round to sending them and then became unresponsive. I'd only paid £50 or £55 for them, but because I paid by goods and services, I raised a claim on PayPal. They investigated it for 7 days or 2 weeks. They then sent me the money back. No stress, no hassle. I've not lost the money. Done. So that is it. I hope you sort of enjoyed that story. I sort of enjoyed the process of trying to scam a scammer. But I just want to underline, the purpose of this isn't to say, oh, this is how you get £1 off of somebody. It's to say, do not fall for these internet scams. At the minute, there are so many knocking around. If you see something that looks cheaper than it should do, really drill into those things. How long has the Facebook page been up for? Have they got any friends on the profile? Have they got loads of profile pictures or not? Are they saying collection only? Are they asking for a deposit? All those sorts of things. Give it some real thought before you part with your hard-earned cash for any item or service. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4 PM.